Hey, welcome back to Learning Self-Reliance. Wanted to do a quick update video on these sprouts here. They're doing pretty good right now. I've got a couple of these butternut squash over here. One of them didn't sprout, but that's all right. I'm thinking two will probably be good enough for us. We've got some onions and lettuce and carrots and stuff right here. They're pretty small compared to anything else. I mean, can barely see them when they're inside of these here. But I think these need a bit more water again today. These peas over here have been doing really good. Really happy with those. I put these little sticks in there, the little shish kebabs or whatever, to help them stay upright a bit more, and that seems to be helping them quite a bit. But they do seem to be drying out right now, so I'm going to give them a bit more water. I tried to have a little plastic cover on top of this, clear plastic, but the peas and stuff were just so tall that they'd already hit the top of it, so I'm not sure how to deal with that. But one thing I wanted to do was show you guys this sunchoke I've got here. So let me move the camera and show you that. Alright, so in this big pot here, I've got what's called a sunchoke, also known as a Jerusalem artichoke. It's not an artichoke and it's not from Jerusalem, so the Jerusalem artichoke name is a bit confusing. So I'm going to call it a sunchoke. Let me show you guys a time lapse of this thing growing up. So this sunchoke here is kind of like, it's a root that you plant down, kind of like a potato. It looks kind of like ginger to me. You plant it down at the bottom and it grows up. Apparently it's impossible to kill, and which is exactly the kind of plant that I need because I'm a terrible gardener. Don't do a very good job at it. But this thing, I set it in this pot that used to house the lemon tree, and it still has too much water in it from the lemon tree. I changed it out and I rotated it and added some sand and stuff like that to help it, but it's still really wet. So I haven't watered this plant at all since I planted it, which was a couple months ago. So I'm really impressed with it. It's been doing really good. So I'm going to let it keep growing, and I'll probably plant it outside here in a few weeks once we get past the first frost, or the last frost. But I just want to do an update on that. Let's head outside real quick and let me do an update on our last beehive. This is the only hive that survived from last year. You can see we got quite a bit of activity going on here. This is still springtime. Many times the bees are much more busy than this in the spring, but we got quite a bit of activity going on here. You can see some pollen coming in with these bees. During the winter, they just sat in a little huddle and kept each other warm and waited for spring, eating their honey stores. That's about it that they do in the winter. But right now, the queen's starting to lay a whole bunch of eggs. She's creating a whole lot of bees for this springtime. She's taking advantage of it, and this hive seems to be doing really well. We put in a honey super on top here of this box. Most of their frames were full, so we decided to put this on just to be safe. We did have some snow a couple days ago, so the bees are having to deal with that. I don't think we put the box on too early, but only time will tell. This hive's doing great.